Liverpool's latest hero isn't who you'd think it is. Not Mohamed Salah, not Darwin Núñez, not Virgil van Dijk. It's this guy, Wataru Endo. After the 2022-23 season, it became clear that if Liverpool wanted to compete in the Champions League again, they need a midfield re-rig. So Jurgen Klopp went shopping, bought a couple of eye-catching names in Dominic Szoboszlai, Alex McAllister, and even Ryan Gravenberch, meaning the sign of Wataru Endo for a modest $16 million from Stuttgart seemed to go under the radar a bit. But now, he's one of the first names on the Liverpool team sheet every week, and for pretty obvious reasons too. Remember that 2022-23 season I was talking about? Yeah, Liverpool fell off. Season before, since 2017 at least, they'd always managed to finish fourth or higher up, meaning they got to play in the Champions League, reaching 3 finals in the space of 5 years. But in 2022-23, they were so out of sort, and they ended up finishing 5th, meaning no Champions League football. Now, there were a couple of reasons for this drop in form. Key names like Sadio Mane and Jorginho Wijnaldum had left the club, but the obvious one was that the link between defence and attack, the midfield that is, just wasn't working. They'd always seemed to get it right under Klopp, and now they couldn't. That season in the Premier League, Liverpool conceded 47 goals, a record low since 2017. Something was definitely going on. No matter the midfield combo Jurgen Klopp tried, he couldn't cut it. So coming into this transfer window, it was clear something had to be done. So they set out to work, and by September 2023, Liverpool's midfield was new look. In the first game against Chelsea, Klopp opted to go for Alexis McAllister at the base of midfield, flanked by Cody Gakpo and Dominic Szoboszlai, and while the new look midfield brought a couple of fresh ideas to it, the problem looked like it was still hovering above the surface. While sitting deep allowed McAllister to become a tenacious 6, trying to dictate the tempo of the game with tackles and interceptions. It kind of looked like he wasn't exactly used to the role, and over the games that followed, Liverpool still managed to win, albeit with some shaky results, until the game against Sheffield United changed everything. Alex McAllister got injured, and what this meant is for the next couple of matches, Wataru Endo was going to get the nod in midfield, his big opportunity to impress. Now a quick one, if you're enjoying this video so far, you're going to love the videos we release every week, so make sure you've hit that subscribe button, ready so you don't miss out. Now back to it, before McAllister's injury, Endo only started 2 games in the Premier League, but as soon as he got into the team, he couldn't get out because he'd become that good. He started in the 2-1 comeback win against Crystal Palace, played both 90 minutes in the draws against Arsenal and Manchester United, and it was clear for everyone to see just how good Liverpool's Japanese star had become. Really good. With Endo in the Liverpool team now, Liverpool's goals conceded ratio had dropped from 1.08 to 0.43, a big plus, or minus in this case. Still not convinced? In the games where Endo didn't start, Liverpool conceded an average of 4.2 shots per game. But with Endo on the pitch now, it dropped to 2.7 shots per game. Endo on average puts in 2.2 tackles per 90 for Liverpool, meaning he's the 5th highest tackler in the team with this one. But when you realise that before McAllister's injury, he didn't get that much playing time with only 2 starts out of 14 prior, it becomes impressive. While he's not the same range as the likes of Thiago Alcantara or even Dominic Szoboszlai, Endo's passing has been pretty good, averaging a total of 65.2 passes per game with an 85.7 pass success rate. Endo's work was on full display against Arsenal in the league back in December. To give you context into what was going on, in the previous games last season, Liverpool had barely managed to bag a draw against Arsenal at home after losing 3-2 at the Emirates. But with Endo in the team, the game was different. Arsenal's key man in midfield, Martin Odegaard, well, he was in Endo's pocket, as were the rest of the Arsenal midfield for this one, because the Japanese warrior was everywhere. Endo's performance helped the Reds come from a goal down to a draw at 1-1, but by this point it became clear that Endo had understood the job he was expected to do. Now, for Endo, it was simple. Unlike before when Liverpool had 3 midfielders who couldn't exactly figure out what they were doing, everyone had a simple task, and it all started with Endo. He was expected to win the ball back and feed the rest of the ball carrying midfield or wide men to start the attack. And when the team was on the threat of getting countered, he'd step in to fill the gap and cover, meaning it allowed for the creative players out wide in Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson to get up the field, because unlike before, they now had cover in Endo. He was now so important that after going on international duty with Japan in the Asia Cup, he had fans hoping Japan would exit early so that he could come back quickly. Endo's return to the team had given Klopp the idea of how he wanted to play now. With Soberschlei and McAllister flanking Endo, it meant Liverpool was about to become one of the best attacking forces in the league. But first, they had to win the Carabao Cup against Chelsea, and it's safe to say there's no way they'd have won this if not for the brilliance of the Japanese samurai. Endo's role in this game was as usual, protect the back line and give cover in case the team went on a transition. But there was one catch. It wasn't the usual midfield trio or the usual Liverpool team, in fact, because due to a load of injuries, Liverpool were depleted. Heck, they even lost Ryan Gravenberch minutes early in the final. Still on the game, Endo knew if his team was going to get anything out of it, he'd have to be braver than he usually was. The injury to Gravenberch now meant that there was a tactical red fire, meaning Connor Bradley had now dropped into play as a makeshift midfielder. But Endo was more up to the task. This was just one of several examples the guy ran the show. Endo was brave in going forward with the ball, attempting progressive ball carries and even going past the Chelsea midfield like they weren't there. Once the Chelsea team caught wind of what was going on, they quickly switched tactics to make sure they had bodies on Endo, trying to force him to make a mistake and capitalise on that. But Endo didn't budge. Calm under pressure and always outplayed is the way through. He made 8 passes into the final third in that game and had a 91% pass completion rate. Top that off with him competing a staggering 120 minutes of intense energy, and it's easy to see why he'd done nothing but win fans over in the past month. If the game against Chelsea was an insider into just how good he was, then the game against Man City was the real thing. This one was all set to be an epic. City, defending the league champions, who trashed Liverpool 4-1 last season, came into this one at Liverpool's Anfield as favourites. Thanks in large to the part that the midfield City had at their disposal. Players like Kevin De Bruyne, Philip Foden and Rodri. Anyone who's watched De Bruyne and Erling Haaland link it up knows how deadly these two can be. De Bruyne seems to know how to find these Norwegian beasts with penetrating passes anywhere. But that wasn't the case at Anfield, because Endo knew this one too, and always positioned himself in front of Haaland to cut out the service from reaching him. His mobility was in full swing too. Anytime either De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva had the ball, Endo was incredibly quick at covering the gaps and spaces, forcing them to pass either sideways or go all the way back. Throughout the game, Endo was the player dictating the Liverpool play, slowing it down or kicking things up when he saw the opportunity to attack. And bar missed chances like this. And this. Liverpool could have easily won this game. Endo covered the most distance in the match too, further cementing his importance to the team. Still adding more context to this, the game was the first in Kevin De Bruyne's City career that he only completed 50% of his passes in the final third of the match he'd started. And the anger on his face when he was subbed off was enough to prove that Endo had done a job on him. Still, on the City game, Endo had 7 duels and he won 6 of them, including winning all 2 of his aerial duels. For someone who's relatively small at 5'7", that's impressive. His defensive numbers were equally as good too. He completed 2 clearances, had 6 ball recoveries, 9 defensive actions, and an overall boss performance. Endo's passing throughout the game was another talking point too. Very quick to release the ball, meaning even when Rodri tried to cut in or press him, he couldn't catch Endo, because the samurai had, escaped. Endo was on touch point with the ball too, recording 72 touches and hitting 3 passes into the final third. And another amazing stat about his touches was the fact that he didn't dispose one. Not even Rodri could get close to him, and he's supposed to be the best defensive midfielder in the world. It's the business end of the season now, and at this point every game counts, meaning if Liverpool are going to maintain a title charge in Klopp's last season, they need Endo to keep up performances and help them push for a first title in front of actual fans. As for Endo, just looking at him you'd realise he's not your typical modern day footballer. He just wants to get his work done, hit training sessions and repeat the cycle again. Hopefully, he keeps up the performances, and who knows, he could become the base of Liverpool's team set to kick or reach even bigger levels for the years to come. And not just Liverpool too, with the Japanese national team as well, where he's the captain. If you guys enjoyed this, you're going to love the videos we have for you every single week on the channel. So make sure you leave a like, subscribe and comment down below which ballers you want us to focus on next. See you next time.